Hi. I'm looking here at a packet of basil, but it's basil with a bit of a difference. The one I normally grow is this one, which is like a salady, leafy, quite lush and soft basil, which is the same. This is one that was from the supermarket and split it up into 3 little clumps and potted it on in decent compost so it'll carry on growing. We just keep picking that. This one is called a British outdoor basil. It's also described as the sill Wasabi. I don't know why they've decided to call it that, because the one I've had before, it's the same sort of thing, and it's called Basis Aristotle. But I think they're either the same or very similar, and it's just marketing really that they've described them differently, these two, on these two packets, I think. But I actually have had this sort of basil. I got a plant from a growing plant from Waitrose, and it looks very different because it's got very tiny little leaves on it, but the flavour's excellent. It's just like ordinary basil, and it's a sort of slightly more leathery and tougher plant altogether. In fact, I don't know if you can see on that picture, but it looks a little bit like a clipped box plant when it's growing, but it's really good. So I've got some Aristotle, and I've only had 5 seeds left because I shared them with my family. I've been posting seeds around the country this morning. It's been a terrible day today. The wind is bitterly cold. Makes me very irritable, the wind. So I've retreated here into the and had a good old tidy up in the stove house and trying to make room for all the seedlings that are growing. The sweet peas have come up, by the way, in the propagator, and I've just popped my lemongrass stalks, my 2 pots of lemongrass in there with them. So anyway, I'm going to just sow this on the surface of the compost and cover it with a fine sprinkling of vermiculite. If you don't have vermiculite, which is like a sort of white granular stuff, that doesn't matter. Just use a little fine sprinkling, but you don't want to bury the seeds. It's always worth reading your seed packet carefully because they're all different in their requirements, and some will want to be covered and deepish, and others will want to stay right on the surface because they use light to help them germinate. So in this packet, it always says on the packet how many seeds. There's 100 seeds in here, far more than I need. So please do resist the temptation to chuck the whole packet full on your compost to grow, because at the end of the day you'll have to do something with them and you'll probably run out of room. It's better to grow a few now, and then later on when you've got a bit more room to manage them, you can plant a few more and keep moving them through wherever you're growing them. There we go, that's it. I could put some vermiculite. In fact, I'll do a little. I'm big into my experiments now, as you probably realise. I'm going to cover half with the vermiculite because I've actually got some. I had the bag. And to be honest with you, I'm using all this stuff up. I've had all bags of stuff that I bought for specific purposes, and now I'm just making a point of trying to use it. Vermiculite's a sort of it's stone that's been kind of heat treated so that it's expanded. It's a little bit like pumice. That's vermiculite. And then, so I've done one half, and then the other half I'm just doing a little fine sprinkling of my compost. I put it in reasonable compost because they're nice seeds and I want them to do well. So that's it. I shall just stand that in a tray of water, and then I will put it in my propagator, but you could cover it over with a lid of some sort. You could use one of these little individual. These are so old, they've gone all opaque. But in a way, it's not just the light, but it keeps the humidity up. But there we go, you could do something like that. Or if you're using your recycled fruit punnets, just something over the top, or some bubble wrap, which is what I put on my big trough just now. all of these things keep it humid and warm, and that's what you need now for successful germination. So we shall come back with interest to look at the Basil Aristotle, or the window wasabi, as it is also apparently known. There you go. Have fun. Bye.